So I apologise for the hair. It is sort of all over everywhere because I don't even know, it just is a mess and it needs a good shave. So today I'm going to be talking a bit about like what I regret from what I did in my whole college experience. I know it's not that long, it was only 2 years that I was at college because obviously I'm in the UK and college is only to do A levels or BTECs in. But I thought for any like year 11s or year 12s who are struggling with motivation or ideas of how to plan ahead for when they're back at college after everything, I thought I'd just sort of tell you what I shouldn't have done and what you shouldn't do. So what I sort of regret is from year 11, when I was doing my GCSEs, I sort of jumped straight into the whole college thing, and I had set in my head that I need to get A levels, I need to go to university, and I need to do all these things, and I didn't look at wider options. There were just two colleges that I looked at as my choices, and I really should have like branched out a bit, maybe looked into some apprenticeships that maybe I could have gone into, or maybe different courses that I could have done at different colleges, compared the different colleges better. I do think I picked the best college out of the two that I was looking at, but there were still others in the area that I could have travelled to better. I just think instead of having such a closed mind of I need to go to these two colleges which are the best colleges in my area, I just sort of wish I would have done more research in that area and maybe looked at if I could have done a different course, or if I actually don't think when I was applying for the course, the A levels that I wanted to do, I don't think I actually looked at what I would be doing on them. I don't think the website actually had that. I went to I only went to one open day or two. I went to an open day with my school and then an open day on my own for the college that I didn't end up going to. And then I went to one open day, I think, for the college that I did go to, but I don't think I did any taster sessions in it. I think it was just sort of a bit of a look around. I can't actually remember, but I 100% would recommend doing a lot more research into it and visiting it a lot more. I did end up loving where I ended up going, so I was lucky, but definitely I've definitely applied to looking at more places for when I've been applying to uni and stuff, but yeah, I definitely should have done that. Secondly, it would be to chill a lot more because I was very, 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 very stressed in definitely my first year there, and I was slowly on an incline of stress up until when we should have been doing exams, and that was terrifying because so I would be at college every day with lessons started at 9:15, but I was always there for 8:30, and then they finished at about 3ish usually. So I would either get the bus, in my first year I would either get the bus or my mother or my sister would pick me up. And if I was getting the bus, I'd get home for about 4 o'clock maybe, and then I'd do work after that. As soon as I got home, I'd get any homework that I had done, any question packs, and then I'd just be revising all the time. And then on a Saturday, I used to volunteer at Bernardo's charity from 9 till 2, or 9 till half 2, because my mum would drop me off and pick me up from when she was at work. And then when I got home from that, I would revise, and then Sunday I would be revising as well. And then in year 13, at about end of September, I think it was, I got a job, and I was working Saturdays and I was working Sundays. I was working Saturdays 9 till half 5, and then Sundays, what was it? 11 till 3. And then again, when I got home, I would be revising or doing questions and things like that. And then holidays, I would sort of have a bit of a break, but not much. And I think I was just sort of building up and building up until I just sort of burnt out. Should have given myself more time to do like different hobbies and socialise and all them types of things, because literally I had no hobby at all. I used to do archery a couple of years ago, but when I got ill I stopped doing that, and then I started it again, and then when GCSEs came around I completely cut it out because I wanted to focus on them. And then with being so stressed over college and so focused on college, I never picked it back up again. So I'm hopefully maybe get back into it. I don't know, I'll soon see. Although I do have to say that I am incredibly grateful for the fact that I do have a job, because it's taught me like how to manage my money. I actually think I've only ever spent like money on Christmas presents and stuff. I don't think I've actually bought anything for myself as of yet. I've been giving money to my mum to help with like the rent and things, and then I've just been saving up for car insurance and for when I start uni, for like petrol and sort of stuff like that, like stuff that I'll need for uni before I get my student loan and all that type of jazz. Another thing is that I wish that I would have maybe looked ahead, because now I would 100% recommend to people in year 11, look at what the entry requirements are, because you might not even need to do A levels. Like when I wasn't 100% sure on what course I wanted to do at university, so I just went A level route and focused on that. But looking at it, I could have done BTECs. I could have actually done a biomedical BTEC, and if I got, I think the entry was, I'll double check. So the entry requirements would have been merit distinction for BTEC for the course that I want to do and the course that I've been accepted on. So it's just worth having sort of like a look out as to what you could have done. Another huge regret I actually have is not applying for medicine, or well, at least having one application down for medicine at because the university that I'm going to, Edge Hill, that they've got the first year of medicine down, and I sort of feel like, because I always wanted to be a pathologist, and you need to do a medicine degree to become a pathologist, but I just sort of didn't, it sort of scared me when I was looking into it, that I couldn't deal with like the people in the actual medical training. I just want to go straight to the dead people, which is a bit thingy, but I sort of maybe think now maybe I should have just maybe put one option down for it and seen what I got, because if I was rejected, then I was rejected at the end of the day. But there's also that sort of like confusion that as to if I would have put it down and got accepted and then not taken it, have I taken that medicine application away from someone? Because I would have been 100% dedicated to doing it, but would there have been somebody who was like 100% wanted to be a doctor and help living people, whereas I just wanted to look at dead people? So yeah, I would recommend for you to, even you have 5 choices, so use them all. Even if it's not a course that you 100% want to go on, if you've only got like 2 choices that you 100% want to do them choices and they're the only thing that you want to do, and then you only put them down, and then you get rejected from them too, I just sort of use them all up, even if it's not 100% what you wanted. If it's still something that you're going to enjoy for the next however many years that you're going to be doing it, then yeah, I would still put it down and still see, because you never know what can happen with just having 2 choices. Sort of following on from the not taking a break, it would be to have focused more on my health and my mental health, because I sort of deteriorated a bit after about February of year 12. I had to take time off of college to recover, and then when I went back to college I had to be in a wheelchair for a bit, which was, I hate that, and because you feel just so like people judge you so much for being in it, and then but my friends were really supportive and they helped me through it a lot. But you don't want to end up in that situation where you've focused so much on getting A level, getting the grades for your mocks, for what you needed for your UCAS application, that you didn't actually focus on yourself and make sure you were healthy, and that you were doing everything, taking everything that you should have been taking and all that type of stuff. I wish I would have like kept track of what I was doing better. Like in year 13 I started doing a diary and marking down like what things I've been taking and what things were due and what things I needed to do and all that type of stuff, and to make sure that I was doing it and not forgetting to do it, so that I could stay healthy and all that type of stuff. and I ended up missing out, obviously, a lot of the college experience. And you need to make sure you experience as much as you can, because those 2 years are going to go by like that, and you're never going to see it again. And there's going to be so much that you can do in those 2 years, because 16 to 18, it's sort of like a weird age that you can only experience then. You can't like experience being under 18 but over 16 again, and it's sort of weird. Don't know. Another sort of linking thing is that that I regret is that I wasn't very organised. Like I had, like you had every, like there were all those like girls in my classes who had like perfect files that were really aesthetic, and like plastic covers over the, what's it called, hole punch holes so that it didn't tear and all that sort of jazz. And like separate files for every single module, and like had diaries that they wrote everything in, and like apps to keep tracks of stuff. I didn't really start that until year 13. So in my first year I had 3 big lever arch files that I just sort of kept everything in, and then when I'd finished that I would take it out and I have like separate, I have 4 like tier drawer behind me here that my squishymallows are on, and so the bottom one was chemistry, the middle one was biology, the top one that I used for my college stuff was psychology, and then the very top one was like pens and pencils and stuff. Now I just sort of have that, and I have all that there, so it's sort of expanded a bit. And I would, whenever I got homework, I'd just take a picture of it, take a picture of the due date on the board and keep it on my phone, but I'd get it done straight away, and then I'd just sort of leave it in my file until the day that it needed to be in for. So I would be like sort of panicking if I couldn't find stuff, and couldn't remember what date stuff was on, and I didn't know where I put certain things, and if some things could drop out my file, and then I was carrying around huge files, and then I was told off because I was carrying around huge files. So then in my second year I realised I need to get sorted a bit more, so I ended up getting a diary, which I used the entirety of my year 13, and I've sort of been using it less now, because obviously I don't have anything due in because I've finished all the content that my teachers have set me, but I am going to like keep on using it when I get stuff that I need to schedule. I have my whiteboard, which I can like pin stuff on, and then I have like the times and stuff that needs doing. I do seriously apologise now though, because I'm looking in this and it's all sort of like at an angle. So as you can see, my work schedule is there. I'm enjoying that very much. It's so entertaining being in a post office with like 5 customers a day. But yes, very fun. I also have this thing now for medication. Yes, that's a lot of medication, but so that I remember when to take stuff and sort of stuff like that. So yes, make sure that you have some sort of schedule, some sort of checklist, some sort of timetable that you stick to and follow, because I didn't do that and I was an idiot for not doing it for my first year. So moving on from what I was an idiot about and didn't end up doing, onto the sort of the stuff that I was really happy that I did. When I'm looking back on it, I may have been really tired and hated doing it and been really snappy when I was doing it, but I loved it and I'm so thankful for doing it when I'm looking back at it. And that was all the electives that I did. So my college had a future electives program for like prospective careers. So originally I joined the future medics program, and then I learned that maybe it's not the career for me because I can't deal with people and that sort of like aspect of it. So they allow me to switch to the future scientist program, which I love even more, and it's sort of like verified that research would be a really, really interesting thing for me to go into. I also did the Gold Crest Award and the EP, and I did an EPQ, all of which I am thankful for because they sort of like added to my personal statement and helped me get and I'm thinking they probably played a big role in me getting my offers for the universities that I got offers for. And then another thing that I did, which is probably unique to the UK and like maybe the Northwest possibly, was the Manchester Access Programme, which was I think it's still a thing, I'm assuming it's still a thing, which was an access programme for like deprived areas to go to Manchester and like experience seminars and like life like that, sort of like the Brilliant Club, which is another like I think deprived thing, to help you see what uni's like and get you to go to university. And by doing that I had to write an academic assignment, and I also got, if I applied to uni, if I applied to Manchester Uni, they would lower the grade offer. I think they ended up lowering it to AAA for my offer, but I can't really remember. It's been a while since I've checked UCAS. So that was a really good experience for learning what uni would be like. So I would 100% recommend for you to take up any opportunity that you're given to like seem that you're really interested in it without burning yourself out. Another thing which I'm thankful for was that I did start early with my whole researching. Because of the Futures programme that I was in, I sort of was made aware of a lot of different fields in science and that may be interesting. I could do some more research into them fields and see if they interested me, and see what courses and entry requirements they had, see what modules they did, and see if that would be possible for me to stick to for 3 years. So I am quite glad that I started early, especially with my personal statement and things like that. I started that in the summer of year 12, so that it was sort of being worked on throughout. There was a lot of time for like improvement and stuff with my tutor. And I went to open days in year 12 instead of year 13 because I knew that I wouldn't want to miss a lot of like college days in year 13 because the content was so important. So yeah, start early with your research into what you want to do. I'm immensely grateful for is the study skills that it's given me, because it was such a weird transition from like high school where we had like one 15-minute break and then one, I think it was a 40 or half an hour dinner break, to having like a lesson at 9 o'clock in the morning and then a massive break in between until 1 o'clock when I had another lesson, and like learning how I could keep myself motivated to do work during them times so that I wasn't just sort of sat there doing nothing. It opened me up to try like a lot of different revision methods that I would suit for me, because for GCSE I just sort of don't really know what revision methods I had. I just sort of did anything and everything, whereas in them periods I could sort of like try out loads of different ones and then see which was suited for me, and like using the time to do like things like the TT method, so that I'd do like a past paper one free one day, and then I could revise the content in the free the next day, and then the next week I'd redo the paper, and like it was just sort of so useful to make sure that I was using all the time effectively and not just sitting there. Another factor of that is it's taught me how to write a lot faster and getting me assessed, because I was actually assessed at college for extra time, and it turns out I'm entitled to 25% extra time, which would have been amazing, but anyway. There's also the fact that it was a fresh start. At high school I felt sort of, at high school I felt a little bit pressured and stuff because I was good. I was good at science. I was gonna say I was the best at science. I think I'm the only person in my high school who got all 9s in all 3 sciences. But I can't tell you. I was sort of like, teachers knew that I tried hard and sort of stuff like that. But at college they just sort of was just sort of like a fresh start, and there were loads of other really really smart people there. Nobody knew that I had 3 9s and then a C in English, so it's just sort of like, yeah, we'll help you with this and all that. They sort of didn't judge of what I was good at or what I was bad at, and I felt like I could ask teachers for help in and wouldn't feel like they were sort of like thinking, well, why don't you know this? Were you not paying attention in class? And I didn't really make any new friends, to be honest. It was just sort of, I just sort of stayed with the people who I knew, and I was completely fine with that. I know there are probably a lot of videos on here that say college was so good because it opened me up to a load of new friends and all that type of stuff. To be honest, I was perfectly fine with college just sort of throwing me in and not getting any new friends, because it was, nobody sort of like pressured me to make friends because they already had quite a few friends there. And the friends that I did have, they were just so supportive and made me laugh throughout it. Like in psychology, me and my two of my best friends, we were just, it was just so fun. Like we just sort of like teachers off all the time and slag other people off all the time. And it was like, my psychology lessons were probably some of the funner ones because they were the ones where I had friends in my biology and my chemistry. It was just sort of like people who I knew through them lessons, and like I didn't know otherwise. But like in psychology, they were friends who'd had from high school, and it was just sort of quite nice to have a laugh along with it and like use funny stuff from them lessons that'll just stick with me and I can use in time to come as blackmail. To finish it off, I would say that I'm thankful for college for giving me such a unique experience. I don't think my college experience has been like anybody else's, and I highly doubt yours will be like anybody else's. Like I'd never thought, like leaving high school, that I would be able to volunteer and get a job and succeed in A levels and keep friends and be able to walk up 3 flights of stairs every day and actually play D&D with actual people. I've played it like online and stuff before, but I never played it with my actual friends until year 13, which I never thought would have happened. It's just sort of solidified for my love for science and studying. Like I knew in high school that I loved science and I loved learning new things, but then doing it at a high level of A level, even though it's not that much of a higher level, I know, compared to degree and like research, but it just sort of solidified the fact that yeah, I want to do this. I don't care what anybody says, I want to do it. And yeah, so I don't really sort of know if this video was sort of like 5 things that I experienced at college and hated, or 5 things that I experienced at college and loved. I just sort of rambled for a bit, to be honest. I'm sure when I edit it I'll be able to put numbers in somewhere, but we'll soon find out. It might not be even, might be odd. That'll be annoying. I don't even know if I did like the same amount of bad and good things. I just don't know. I just rambled about random stuff. Also, do you like my new features? I've got Marina Snake Hornsby, who's my best friend's favourite, and then there's a PMA one as well. I also made a Connor, but he dropped off the wall and broke his leg, so now I'm traumatised and I have to super glue his leg back on, which was not fun. He's currently drying. Anyway, I'll see you again at some point. This will probably have been quite a long video. Au revoir. I don't actually know what my hair's doing at the current moment.